How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, as you're probably aware by now, there were elections yesterday across the country. In my area, it was all local. Like city council, mayor, school board type stuff. Nothing of significance outside of the local area, right? Um, in other places, though, they had important elections that will affect the country as a whole, I would think. I mean, I understand, New York, yeah, it's your mayor, and, your mayor affects your city, but seeing how important New York City is to the rest of the country, that could be a significant election, and they elected Zoran Mamdani, despite, all the attacks against him. He is the first Muslim to ever be elected mayor of a major city in the United States. And with that city being New York, some of the attacks on him were just outrageous. Like, if we were to have another 9/11, how would he react to it? Well, considering that's his town, it's where he lives, it's where he's from, it's where he was born. Yeah, I don't think he would be celebrating it. And that was the implication, is that, well, he would celebrate if another 9/11 happened. Islamophobic nonsense, right? And you know what? I can disagree with Muslims on matters of faith, and I do. But that doesn't mean that I think that they're all a bunch of terrorists, because they're not. Are some? Yes. But those are the ones that pervert their book to justify their terrorism. Just like there are people who call themselves Christians who pervert the book to justify their evil actions. Okay? It happens, There are religious extremists who pervert the books that they claim to believe in. They will tell you things that are not there. So, there's that. But, you might make the argument, well, New York is a big blue city, so it was going to vote for the Democrat for mayor anyway, right? Yeah, more than likely. More than likely. Curtis Sliwa, the Republican, got, something like 8% of the vote. And coming in second was former Democrat mayor, or governor rather, former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who was an establishment Democrat. He ran for mayor. Zoran Mamdani, wiped the floor with him in the primary. And Cuomo decided, no, I'm not taking this loss. I'm not going to take the loss. I'm going to change to independent and run anyway. All right, well, it's your prerogative. But, at the very last minute, Donald Trump and Stephen Miller endorsed establishment Democrat Andrew Cuomo for mayor. Establishment Democrat who ran as an independent. They didn't even support the Republican candidate. didn't even support the guy from their own party. You know, and you can say what you will about Sliwa, but, you know, I mean, a lot of people don't really know a whole lot about Sliwa, except that he's the founder of the Guardian Angels. That's really all people know about him. If you're not familiar with his politics, that's the one thing that you might know about him. He started the Guardian Angels. But what else happened across the country, right? Let's go right next door to New York, New Jersey. New Jersey, they elected Mikey Sherrill as their new governor. And, I mean, then again, Jack Ciattarelli was basically campaigning on Trump can do no wrong. Trump can do no wrong was his effective strategy. You know what? If Trump does it, I support it, and I'm going to do whatever Trump tells me to do as governor. And that was not a winning campaign. That was not a winning strategy. Mikey Sherrill came in and she beat him. Now, you might want to say that, well, that's a blue state. It was going to go blue anyway. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because, first of all, Donald Trump made massive gains in New Jersey from 2020 to 2024. All right. That is the state where he had the second most gains in terms of percentage of the population. Right? Not enough to flip the state, of course, but he did well in New Jersey compared to Republicans in recent memory, including his own run in 2020 and in 2016. But not only that, right? New Jersey has never, this is the third consecutive gubernatorial race that the Democrat has won. It's Mikey Sherrill's first term as governor, but the third in a row that is won by a Democrat, which has not happened since the 1960s. So New Jersey, yeah, pretty blue, but at the same time, they like to elect Republican governors at times. You know, they give a Democrat no more than 2 terms, and then they put a Republican in. Typically, that's the way they operate. All right, now let's go down to Virginia. And in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger won the governor's race there. Again, the Democrat winning. And you might say, well, it's a blue state. Okay, yeah, but she replaced a Republican governor, right? Glenn Youngkin, who is not allowed to run for a 3rd term under, I don't know if it's in the Virginia Constitution or if it's just state law, one or the other. If you're from Virginia, let me know on that, would you? Anyway, Youngkin, not allowed to seek a 3rd term, and Spanberger wins the election handily. And her opponent ran as, well, she ran about as Trumpian a campaign as you can possibly run, and lost. She lost by running a Trump campaign. So, That happened. And then if we go out west to California, there was a ballot initiative in California. A ballot initiative. Prop 50, they called it. Prop 50. Which, Proposition 50 is basically what it says is that we're going to allow the state to do a redistricting ahead of the 2026 midterms. Now, normally I would oppose that. Normally, under normal circumstances. But when you have states like Texas, which is a massive state, and the second most populous state in the country, they are redistricting because they were told to by Donald Trump, because Trump said that he is entitled to a majority in the House. And he already knows that he's likely to lose the House in the midterms. So he went to Texas and had them redistrict in order to pick up 5 more Republican seats. All right. And then he said the same thing to other states. Missouri was one. I want to say Indiana. But yeah, they want to redistrict red states, without going through the voters. And California took it to the voters, said, hey, look, this is what we want to do, and this is why we want to do it. And Prop 50 passed. So California will have new congressional districts. And it will favor the Democrats even more than it already does. It will favor the Democrats more than it does. Normally I would oppose that. But when one side wants to cheat, well, they've decided that, you know what, the rules don't mean anything. So if the rules don't mean anything, why bother, right? I mean, I was once told that if you find yourself in a fair fight, your tactics suck, right? Now, I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but yeah, you get people who you get your politicians who want to choose their voters rather than allowing the voters to choose their politicians. Well, in California, the voters said, yes, the politicians can choose their voters. In response to another state where the voters were not given a choice, the politicians just said, we're just going to redo these things here. We're going to get rid of some of these Democrats here, and we're going to put in some new Republicans here, and, just ridiculous maps, too. Just ridiculous. I mean, say what you will about my state of Iowa. We at least have it codified in law that when we redistrict, a county cannot be split up. A county cannot be split up. That makes it tougher to gerrymander. It doesn't make it impossible, but it makes it tougher. So, anyway, that's where we are on that. And then you get Trump out there, and he's saying that the reason the Republicans lost is because A, he's not on the ballot, and B, the government is shut down. Okay, first of all, you not being on the ballot Nonsense. You're not that popular, especially right now. Dude, your approval ratings are in the 30s. In the 30s. That's not good. And, even then, I mean, in both 2016 and 2020, he lost the popular vote. Lost the popular vote. So, it's not like it's a big, sweeping, hey, we love this guy, right? This was a referendum on Trump. It absolutely was. And that's why California voted the way they did. That's why the New Jersey and Virginia voted the way they did. I think New York was going to do what they did anyway. But I don't really know that. I'm not overly informed on New York City politics. That's just kind of the way it looks to me, though, just kind of as an outside observer. But yeah, but if you want to say that, the government shutdown contributed to the Democrats winning, yeah, you're right. You're right. It did. Because you're hurting people. And when you're hurting people, they're going to punish the party in power. Right? They're going to punish the party in power. That's what they do. So, yeah, that's why Virginia flipped. It's exactly why Virginia flipped. It's also why Prop 50 passed. It's why Mikey Sherrill kept the governorship in the hands of the Democrats. And then when you get, a Trump-endorsed sexual predator running on the ticket in, to be mayor of New York City, he's not going to win. People don't really like sexual predators all that much, Donnie. They just don't. And you may have people overlooking the fact that you are one, but just wait. Those files would come out eventually. But yeah, Trump is out there now saying we need to end the filibuster. Be careful what you ask for, Donnie. You might just get it. Be careful what you ask for. Because, first of all, if you're saying, he's saying that if we end the filibuster, we can end the shutdown. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true, because guess what? All you need then is a simple majority. Which party is in control? The Republicans. So you're saying that all along the Republicans could have opened the government. You're saying that they could have done it all along, and they chose not to. So, yeah. That's going well for you. So, for people in the comments of some of my other videos to say, well, the Democrats shut the government down. No, Donald Trump telling the Republicans to use the nuclear option to break that 60-vote rule. Donald Trump saying that is admitting that, yeah, the Republicans are responsible for the shutdown. I mean, he's going to blame the Democrats, of course, but you can't blame the party that has no power. You have the authority to change the rules. You're not doing it. Your fault. Right? But then again, be careful when it comes to changing the rules, because you're not going to be in power forever. Right? not going to be in power forever. And that pendulum will swing. Like it always does. That pendulum always swings the other way. And the next swing, I think, when it swings back the other way, it is going to swing hard. Because we are entering 1929. We are entering 1929. And it's not going to go well. And then 1929 is going to give us 1932. All right, so once the Republicans crash the economy, like they're trying to do, or at least Trump is trying to do, once the economy crashes, and the Republicans won't stand up to their president, voters are going to see that. And they're going to swing the other way. And then we're going to have an FDR type of a response. So that's what we're in store for. Anyway, catch y'all next time.